Hey guys! I'm Melissa.
I'm Patty.
And we are
Efecto Podcast. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys.
Episode 11. Going strong. First off, can we just say, I'm proud of us.
Yeah. Episode 11. Been consistent.
Yes, literally.
We announced. Well, since the first episode.
But technically, we've been on it since December because we started recording in December because our first 3 episodes were pre-recorded.
Yeah.
So I'd say we've been doing a good job.
Yeah.
With being consistent and just putting shit out there.
It's going by quick.
Yeah, and we're in the middle of the 3rd month of the new year, in which we've already had 3 guests. Right? It's 3. Sal, Kenya, and then we just had Metaphor. If you guys didn't check out that episode, go check it out. Or listen, whatever. But it was so good. What was your favorite part of that whole just experience?
I think just getting to know him a little bit more because it was our first guest that we didn't know.
We were so nervous.
Yeah. We had White Claws. I was like, I need another one.
No, we literally chugged our first. We did the roll. We chugged our first drink the minute we got to the studio. We were anxious, and again, just because we didn't know him.
Yeah. And
I've lived in front of him for, which I don't even know.
I know that's still crazy to me.
I know. Yeah. I had to that was the first thing I said. He comes in, he introduces himself. And then we sit down, and it's kind of, I could feel it was going to be an awkward silence. And I was like, so I'm just going to say this now, but I'm your front neighbor. And he was like, oh, shit.
What?
And I feel that kind of broke the ice. Yeah. Though. And then we're cool. And then Blue City showed up, Zeke. Awesome. Again, he's the one that reached out to us and, put us in contact. So it was just good vibes.
Yeah, good vibes all around.
Yeah.
Getting to know him, how he started. And it was, even the reels that we made and stuff, people were reacting really good to that.
Yeah.
And people obviously love them, so that was really cool.
Yeah, and I think it's also cool because he's still a new artist. He's still up and coming. He hasn't even dropped his EP yet, but he did say, I think he said on 420 they're gonna drop it, but how cool that we're one of the first interviews. That's just cool. And honestly, we genuinely like his music. Literally, Zacapa is
it's so
always
guys.
on. We always just play it.
Yeah. So definitely listen and tune into his music.
And make sure to follow him and Blue City, because they have a lot of projects coming out. Yeah. So it was just good vibes all around.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's new with you?
Nothing much this week. It's just been, we probably say this all the time, guys, when we catch up, but it's work. So literally, it's work, and on the weekends, we're just, recording this. And then this week was a little tough. Actually, okay, it was good, going good, and then I had a rough day, yesterday. So when I have a mental breakdown and I freak out, I tend to be oh my god, I need to do something and feel in control. So what's the first thing I do?
Dye her fucking hair.
I dyed my hair.
Always. No, but let me read the text because I fucking knew. Yeah. So Melly texted me venting, and in my head I was this bitch is literally about to dye her hair. I sense it. And
I'm I'll have a hairstyle in mind, or I'll be over it, and then the mental breakdown happens. I'm all right, I'm doing it.
But it's literally because you want to feel a sense of control. Oh, because we were in the chat, setting up our, what's it called? Soul cycle. But you weren't answering. So it was just me and Daniela going back and forth. But now it makes sense. Oh, this is when you enter the chat. She's also, had a mental breakdown today, and what do I do when I have a mental breakdown? I need to feel in control. I literally said, change your fucking hair color. She said, doing it as we speak. I said, I fucking knew it. It's mental illness.
Literally, guys. But yeah, so Yes, I did that yesterday. But besides like that rough day, yeah, it's just honestly just been work. I've been putting my phone on Do Not Disturb pretty early, and then just taking that time to like just be in my room, in my zone, just like chill, turn on my little like humidifier with like essential oils and stuff. I've just been there in my little like cave, besides work. But yeah, it was a pretty busy week. Today was pretty like there. I didn't have much to do, but throughout the week it was pretty busy because we just some financial stuff we're closing, and yeah, so it's been, yeah, besides that. And then but at home, from the last episode we had mentioned some stuff. It's looking a little bit better, so that's a good thing. At least, yeah, so we got some good news on some part. So yeah, everything is just, besides work, just been here.
Yeah. Better, but still not good.
Yeah.
But better. So
well,
that's a good thing.
From my dad's, from the other like situation. But yeah. So we just got some good news on that side, so which is looking really good, and just trying to be positive overall, but just taking some time to just relax, chill after work. And this time change, guys, I was struggling at the beginning.
I was too.
Yeah, like I was struggling.
I didn't feel it Sunday. Remember, I was like, oh bitch, I slept in, like it feels so good. And then we're like, oh shit, it's because of the time change. I didn't really sleep in.
Yeah.
But Monday, that one I was like, ugh,
yeah, I
could not get up. My brain would not turn on. I literally logged on to work, and I was just like on like autopilot, and I feel like I wasn't using my brain till its full capacity. I was just going, and I was like, what is going on with me? Yeah. And then someone was like, how's everyone doing with the time change? And I was like, that is it. I was like, that is why I feel this way.
Yeah. But yeah, the time change definitely got to me. But yeah, and then but yeah, how are you?
Good, same, literally work.
Yeah, I'm like trying to think, like I'm like, wait, what am I doing?
It's hard because we literally work a 9 to 5. So that's like the bulk of our week, but this week was also really good. Guys, I'm smelling a promotion very, very soon. Like I can almost taste it. Like obviously I'm sure there's like things that have to happen before like I can officially be told. But like if you read between the lines, you know it's coming. And some things came out today, and I'm like, oh, it's coming. So fingers crossed that maybe the next episode might be promoted. And if I'm not promoted, we're cutting this out. We'll save it for the next episode. No, but work has been really, really good. Again, just working on my development, lots of fun, working with different, I almost said what I do, working with different people in the corporation. So it's been really good. Today was a really good day. Like we went to stores for the bulk of the day. It was really good. And yeah, I went to the gym yesterday and the day before, today and yesterday, like in the morning, like in the madrugada, and I'm like getting so tired. Like literally when we were coming here to record, I was like, bitch, I am so sleepy.
Yeah.
And like my fucking quads are sore. Like I sat down and I was like, no, but all good things. And yeah, honestly, pretty much it for like the week. I don't think there's anything like new.
But yeah, guys, so that was pretty much our week. But today we do have a topic that we want to just talk about because it's something that we struggle and deal with every day.
Literally.
Yeah.
And we're going through it.
Yeah, I just had the episode yesterday.
Like it literally, yeah, and it all, everything just stems from this like thing. And just to start off, like we basically want to just talk about like anxiety, depression, and kind of like just dealing with your emotions.
Yeah.
And one thing about both of us, we have a lot of feelings, like a lot, and our minds race. like a million miles a minute. We're constantly just like, well, what about this? And what about this? And what about this? And what about that? And oh my God, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a very, very real thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first thing we want to talk about is more so like anxiety.
Yeah.
Because I have anxiety.
Yeah. And I 100% do as well.
Yeah. I've never been like told by a doctor like you have anxiety, but like that's not gonna change anything if they tell me. Like, I know. And I've learned throughout the years that it's more so like high functioning anxiety, and I feel like that's what we both have, because people that like don't know or haven't been around when we have our like freakouts are probably like, oh, like they just know how to get shit done, like that's just what they do. But that's part of like high functioning anxiety. Like, we look like we have our shit together,
but trust, guys,
up here mental illness
everywhere. Literally.
No, it is.
Yeah, and then I mean, I've struggled with anxiety since I was honestly like a little girl. But yeah, like, so my grandma, she lived here, my dad's mom, and she pretty much raised me her whole life, and then my whole life, sorry, and her whole life. But my mom and my grandma were like growing up, so they were sick. Like, they had several like I guess they were just several illnesses. They were sick, so constantly the paramedics would be at my house, and that's where I noticed it like started. So I would like hear the paramedics and I would run and I would freak out and I would get scared because I would think that they're picking up like my mom and my grandma. And that was like, since I was little, my mom noticed. She's like, oh, okay, something's like off. And then I would like, just anything that would happen in my life, I would get like really, really bad anxiety. And then when our grandpa passed away, my anxiety got to another level. I was getting panic attacks at school, at home, having to get picked up by like the paramedics. I was hospitalized. Like, it was like pretty bad, to a point where I did get put on medication, but it just wasn't for me. The medication that they gave me was just too strong that I would just sleep, like, pretty much. I took it once and I just slept all day. I didn't come out of my, like, it was like intense. And I was just like, no, that's like not for me. So, like, the doctor was like, okay, if it's not for you, like, it's okay, stop taking it. I recommend like therapy. And I mean, we've been vocal about therapy here. She's like, I recommend therapy. And I remember at this time, I was someone that I just still didn't want to like deal with that and like deal with my emotions or face them.
How old were you? You were in high school.
I was in high school, yeah. So this was in high school. My panic attacks started, so this, sophomore year? Like, I think it was my freshman or my sophomore year. It was my sophomore year.
He passed first semester of your sophomore year.
It was my sophomore year. So they that's when they started. So yeah, I was in high school, and then all of this was happening then. But yeah, so like the medication didn't work. So that's when they said like, oh, you should try therapy. But guys, I remember I walked into that session and I sat there and I said not one word. I was being a bitch, I'm not gonna lie. Like, not to her, not on purpose, but I was just like not saying anything. I wasn't paying attention. My mind was not there. And I remember I got out and the therapist literally looked at my mom. She's like, this isn't for her. Like, it's just not. So over time, I just found different ways of coping with it. But I was constantly like having the attacks. Like, I don't know.
Were you actually coping, or were you just kind of like pushing it to the side?
I was pushing it to the side, and then I don't know what moment it was when I realized like, okay, like I don't know what moment it was that I realized like, okay, this is okay. Like, death is bound to happen. And I think the moment that I like faced that, I was like, okay, the anxiety kind of like disappeared for a while.
Yeah, I think also because you hadn't experienced that close.
Yeah.
Like, it was your grandma.
Yeah.
And you were younger.
Yeah.
And then grandpa, you were in high school. So that's like only two versus me. Death is very normal in my life. I lost my grandmother when I was 2 years old. And then I lost my cousin when I was in first grade. The year after that, I lost one of my aunts. 2 years after that, I lost my grandpa. Like, I've been losing people on my dad's side left and right. So, like, death to me is nothing new. That doesn't mean that I'm desensitized or like it doesn't hurt. It definitely does hurt. But yeah, there's definitely like sometimes like if you're not taught or like kind of explained that your feelings, emotions are validated, you can feel like, oh shit, like I'm not supposed to feel this way. Why am I feeling this way? Like, and then that just makes you freak out more. And I think also just knowing our family and knowing my tia, like very dramatic, over, like everyone in our family has anxiety.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I feel like all Latinos all like we just come from scared people, and I think it's just ingrained in us. I feel like I've talked about this before, but we are a scared like culture because we are seen as other. We're always living in fear, like don't bring too much attention, blah blah blah. And they always put like the worst case scenario in your head. So like we're constantly thinking about that, and because we're just brought up that way, we think it's normal, but we are always in like almost in like fight or flight constantly. But yeah, it's really hard to like know that you have it, or especially if it's not even talked about. Like that was never talked about growing up. I've always been a crybaby, and like I prided myself on like school, like literally, like I was such a great student, and like if I didn't do amazing, like I would freak out. I would be like scared that like I was gonna get in trouble and whatnot, and I would like put that pressure on myself. My parents never pressured me to like, you have to do this, you have to do that, but just like seeing how they were with my brother, I was like, I don't want that. I don't want that wrath. So I'd put that on myself. But it's just crazy because like, again, like they never told me like, if you don't do this, blah blah, but like bitch, I can see, and I'm like, I don't want that. So then I would just put that pressure on myself. And then also always being told like, if you're crying, like stop crying, like always. What are you crying for? And I'm like,
what do you have to stress about?
Like the fuck? I have feelings just because you were like brought up. And I will say like our parents have trauma, or they're like tons and tons of trauma, so like I get it, but it's like bruh, like,
I remember like when I was getting those anxiety attack and panic attacks, I wasn't making them, like, I mean, no, I wasn't making them happen, but I couldn't control them. And and I remember where they're like, oh, it's just in your head, like blah blah blah. I'm like, guys, I physically like could not move. My heart was palpitating, like I was sweating, like I just couldn't move. I thought I was having heart attacks every single time.
I remember the first time my mom was like, se llevaron Meli al hospital. I was like, what the fuck?
Like, it was so bad. And I remember that day, like, I thought that they weren't gonna, like, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna go to the hospital. Like, after the guy told me, like, oh, you just, like, had a panic attack. But I guess it was so high that they're like, oh, you should probably go and, like, spend the night there. But I was like, wait, what? Like, that was weird. I didn't expect it. So then I was like in the ambulance, and I was like, oh, okay.
You're like,
damn.
Shit's about to go down.
I know, it wasn't my first time in an ambulance, but that's for another story time. But I was just like, I just remembered my seizure.
Bitch, I forgot. Wasn't that also brought on by anxiety?
Anxiety. Well, I had fever.
Oh, that's what it was.
And that caused anxiety. Well, I guess because
first things first, Meli is a hypochondriac, but again, it literally she thinks everything is wrong with her. I feel like you're also like you're just super paranoid about everything. But again, it's because how you were raised. Because I love my tia, but your mom is like intense. And like very, very like, oh my god, all of them, all of my tias, my mom. Super dramatic, and obviously like as a child you think like, oh my god. So then when that happens and then someone's like, no, like you're fine, you're like confused, you're like, wait, what the hell? My whole life I've been told X, Y, and Z, now you're telling me no. Like,
and then I think I take every like bad experience and then I associate that with like, oh, it's gonna happen again. Like, I guess we'll leave the other part, but I had an incident one time in the shower where I had a fever, like a really, really high fever, so I had a seizure. And I, like, that, obviously, I had to go to paramedics, I had to do all these brain scans, I was in the hospital for, I think, like 2-3 days. And there was a point where I would literally shower with, like, I'm like, when my dad would leave to work, my mom would be there, and I would just have my door open a little bit, because that day they almost had to, like, knock the door down. And then, so for a while, I was showering with, like, the door open a little bit, because I was like, oh my god, what if I have another seizure? Like, I still don't know if they've, like, cleared me completely. So it's, like, little stuff like that. That's when I know, like, oh, every time I'm like, oh, I have major, like, anxiety. But yeah, like, right now I just thought about that. I reflected on that. And then there's been other instances, like, for example, they've, you know, our house has been robbed before. And I was gonna bring that up.
You would always call.
Freak out.
Like, she would see one person literally just walking in front of the house, I would, like, immediately freak out. Like, call. Yep. I remember one time you called us, and, like, me and my dad came. My dad like looked around. My dad was like, "There's nothing." Yeah,
like, literally, like, and that was, like, growing up. So me and Mikey walked through the door, and my house was destroyed. We, like, there was, like, in the back house, my, like, cousin, like, there was, like, blood on, like, the windows, and, like, I still, like, till that day, and I was young. And then it, like, happened to a point where we were just, like, scared. So then every single time I would be like, oh, I'm, like, out the window if I'm home alone, like, this person's gonna come in, this person's not gonna come in, until, like, we literally got an alarm system that I was like, okay, I'm fine now. But it's, like, stuff like that I'm like, every, like, bad experience, I'm like, it just kind of sticks, and I, like, get anxiety from it. But I guess it's because of that, like, I don't cope with it, that it's like, oh, it just comes up. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think I've said this, like, when we have our conversations, like, you can't, like, when everyone sounds like, oh, I'll get over it, you can never, like, that's not healthy to get over it. You need to work through some, especially if it's something actually, like, impactful to your, and will have, like, an effect on your well-being and, like, how you function. Like, you have to work through it, because it's, like, they always say, history repeats itself. It's always going to come back. But if you do not deal with your shit, the cycle's just going to continue. Like, it is what it is.
And even if you think, like, there's so many times I think I've been, like, I'm like, oh, I'm over everything or whatever, I've dealt with it. It's like, I can be good for years, and then something can trigger it.
Yep.
So that's another thing, you know? It's like, I don't know when I'm going to be triggered, what's going to be next, or, like, whatever. But, like Patty said, it's also the mindset that we have at times where I'm like, this is going to happen next. Or, oh my God, it's bound to happen. I'm like, my life is so good right now, something's going to fucking happen, because there's no way my life is this good right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, just thinking about that, and then I get anxious. I'm like,
but that's the thing, like, again, you cause that, because you're telling yourself. So, like, the power of your word is so important. That's why, like, positive self-talk, and again, I always say this, perspective. Like, if you start to feel like that, like, try and, like, flip it to, like, make it good. Or, like, I remember one time, like, and I think I've talked about this before, like, when we're together, if I sense she's anxious, I'm like, okay, like, even if I'm freaking the fuck out, I cannot show it. And there was a time where you called me, and I don't know where I was, but you were here, and you were freaking out. Like, you were, like, on, like, literally having a panic attack, and you're on the phone, you're like, Patty, I can't, oh my God. And I literally was, and then your mom was, like, she was trying to help, but I could hear in the background, like, also freaking out, and that was just making it worse. And she was like, come on, let's go, like, are we gonna go? I think you're gonna go to the emergency or something. And she was like, who are you on the phone with? And you were like, Patty, you're like, leave me alone. I was like, she's gonna calm me down. And literally all I did was, like, breathe. Literally, I was like, bitch, you're fine. Like, breathe, okay. Like, where are you? Blah, blah, blah. Like, try and distract her a little bit. Like, okay, like, explain to me what happened. And I'll be like, oh, bitch, no, like, you're good. Like, it was this, and this. And then you'd be like, okay, like, little things like that. And I've even, like, seen, like, on TikTok and Twitter, like, if someone's having a panic attack, like, if you just bite into a lemon, cascara on everything, it, like, shocks the system that you focus on that. Or you start to describe, like, the environment that you're in. Like, right now, I'd be like white curtains, wood mirror, pink wall art, I see a soda, I see a laptop, okay, the tripod, and again, to distract yourself. But yeah, again, those are only coping, like, mechanisms. And I feel like I don't know if there's, like, ever gonna be a cure. I don't think there is. I don't think you can, like, 100%, if you have anxiety, I don't think you can 100% get rid of it. It's just, like, how you learn to, like, deal with it throughout your life.
Yeah, and I honestly think, and it's funny because, like, it's, like, the time we're in now, but this year, like, TikTok has helped me through a lot of, like, that, because I guess there's example, like, the lucky girl syndromes, and I know this has been around forever, but it's like how you were just saying, positive self-talk, and it's like, yeah, like, you go on TikTok and it's just kind of like, okay, damn, like, I'm not the only one, like, going through this, like, there are so many people out there, pretty much, there, I know so many people near to my heart that are, like, going through this, but yeah, anxiety is just, it's tough,
and it's real. And I think going back to, like, growing up, a trigger for me is if you're feeling anything, any type of emotion, if you're feeling some type of way and someone doesn't validate your feelings and they hit you with, oh, well, I'm not feeling like that, why are you feeling like that? We are different people. It doesn't matter. Two people can go through the exact same experience and have it impact them differently. We both lost our abuelito. My anxiety didn't kick in the way hers did, but, like, I dealt with it differently.
Yeah.
So just be mindful that, and be open-minded, because some people, I guess, unless you, like, go through it, you don't really, like, understand it, or until you have someone close to you that goes through it. That's why I feel like when people have, like, eye-opening experiences, but it's also hard when I'm only speaking for, like, the Latino community and, like, personally, like, sometimes our parents, they don't know, like, they've never gone through it, they were raised a certain way, and, like, now that we're in, like, the generation where, like, things are more open because of social media, we're way more connected, we're sharing experiences, we're learning from each other online. It's just different.
Yeah. I'm, like, taking all of that in.
No. But yeah, because, like, I literally will get, like, we were talking about this earlier today, like, I get anxiety. It's more so, like, fear of the unknown. So, like, I'm super comfortable and confident. I'm super confident when I'm comfortable. When I'm uncomfortable or in, like, a new situation, I have to meet somebody new, like, my anxiety kicks in, like, to the point where, like, I will cancel plans because I don't want to go. Like, if I'm so excited, let's say we have plans, I'm so excited, she's like, we're just gonna go, like, grab food, we'll go watch a movie, cool, I'm so excited, and it's just like, oh, by the way, so and so wants to come, my anxiety will kick in, because in my brain, I'm like, cool, it's just gonna be me and Melly, or if it's, like, us and, like, our close group of friends, I'm like, cool, like, I'm comfortable with them, I'm gonna be myself, we're cool. Oh, this person is coming, I'm like, anxiety shoots up, because I'm like, oh, fuck, now I have to be on. Like, if it's someone I'm not really around, like, I don't know, like, like, I don't know. Also, my personality, like, if I'm around someone new, it's not, like, sometimes I can be very, like, if I'm in that positive headspace, like, engaging, and sometimes I'm just very, like, to myself, and I just won't interact, and then I'll just, like, shut down. So I get anxiety about that a lot.
Yeah, same. Like, meeting new people, the same thing. And then me opening up and talking about, like, my feelings, like, let's say we're, like, even at, like, Friendsgiving, we go around and say something, I'm like, nope, I can't. Like, it's like funny, like, it's like I just can't, like, just expressing myself to others, talking about my feelings and my emotions, like, that gives me so much anxiety. Like, it's just,
but you know why, right?
Like, I'm like,
because you lose control.
Yeah. Oh,
because
yeah. And I was gonna mention
because you're literally giving people, like, you're opening up, and you're being vulnerable, and you're giving people access to another side of you, and you're giving them a little bit more power, because you're giving them knowledge about you. Yeah. And it's up to them how they're gonna use it.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, guys, when I don't feel in control, like, I freak out and get anxiety. This is why, like, even just with, like, dating, like, it's like the moment I'm like, oh wait, I'm like, like, I back up. But that's, like, I mean, you know, it's something that I need to work on, but it's because I'm losing control. But when I have the control, I'm like, okay, I'm chilling, I'm like, whatever. But it's like the moment I feel like I'm losing control, I tend to do like whatever I can to feel in control. Hence, like dyeing my hair or like whatever it is at the moment. But it's like, that's, it's something I have to work on, but it all comes from like that, like same thing.
And also just like always, like we are planners, so like we like to have things planned out, and life just isn't like that. Like they say, like when you make plans, like God laughs, and that's so true. But when things don't go to plan, like our anxiety kicks in because we're like, shit, we're again out of control. Or if we're like planning like an event, or we're going on a trip, or we're going somewhere, and then like something takes a turn and it kind of makes the situation worse or just more difficult, we're like, what the fuck, like and it literally just like flips everything. Even when we went to fucking Carin Leon and with all the fucking thunder and shit, like I'm freaking out. I broke down.
Amanda, because I know you're listening, she's gonna vouch for this, because when I threw Patty her surprise party, little stuff, guys, I was like, oh my god, I was like freaking out. They're like, Mel, relax, like it's okay. Like Amanda was like, girl, like baby girl, like it's okay, like calm down. But in my head I'm like, no, because in my head I have an idea of how I want everything to look like, her reaction, like I'm like, oh my, like I'm thinking about everything that I'm like, this is gonna ruin it, like, you know. And it's like, or this and that, like little stuff like that. It's like, it's crazy, like it's crazy how much it takes over. And
when we decided to like talk about this, I literally started thinking about like when I was little. I mentioned school, but like even when I would like, if let's say I learned a game and I was taught these are the rules, I was such a big rule follower. And if someone wanted to change the rules, I'd be like, no, we can't do it that way. Like it has to be like this, because that's just the way it is. And like I couldn't grasp the like concept of like things being fluid or like ambiguous. And growing up, I was forced to like deal with it, because again, like I talked about, like in school we both did really well, and it was like structured and planned. We kind of knew what was next. And then in college, some of the like hand holding got let go, but there was still structure. But then once it was like I graduated and I had to look for a job, I was like, oh fuck. And then now even at work, like there's just shit that you have to do, and like especially the work that we're in, like things change at the drop of a hat. Like literally on Monday morning, I could have a list of priorities. By 2 p.m. that goes out the window, and now I have to work on this, and it is what it is. Like you just have to go. And I think that because I've been with this company for quite some time now, I'm used to it, and I'm like finally like accepting it and absorbing it into not just like my work life, my personal life. So I think that is also kind of like helping. But don't get me wrong, I still get fucking anxiety. Like when we had the metaphor fucking thing last week, freaking out. Like I literally, and the funny thing is I was like, bitch, I'm nervous. I was like, it's because like we don't know like what the vibe's gonna be. And then Melly goes, oh shit, you're right. She goes, now I'm nervous. I was like, bitch, I'm so sorry.
I know for a while I wasn't thinking, and then it came to the point where even just the way that we were there, like waiting before them, and usually we're up at the studio, we're like, we need to go up now. Like it was just
we were like turning away from the window. We were like, I was like, I don't want to see.
But it's just, but literally, like we was like, oh my god, wait, now I'm nervous. Like, but how she said, usually, I think I'm not good at like how she went. Oh my god, I couldn't talk. And then, like Patty said, usually if she notices that I'm like anxious or nervous, she kind of like has a switch. I'm definitely not good at that.
No.
So I will like freak out more. Yeah. Like, so if you're like
I think it's funny because like if you know Melly, or like if you know of Melly, you would just think like she has no emotions, but like she literally will freak the fuck. Like, you think I'm emotional? She will like flip. Like, and again, like it's like knowing the triggers. And sometimes I think the worst thing you can tell somebody is calm down. Because sometimes maybe they're trying to, and you telling them like calm down, like bitch, I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm fucking trying.
Yeah, literally.
Insert Rutman Rock.
Yeah, literally.
I'm fucking trying.
But yeah, and like how she just mentioned, people wouldn't expect that. Like, I mean, there's so many times where they finally seen that glimpse, or like, dude, like it's okay, like yeah, like calm down. And I'm just like, dude, like shut the fuck up right now.
Don't fucking tell me to calm down. I feel like that's the fastest way to make me blow up.
Yeah.
like bitch, you want me to calm down? Do the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm about to blow the fuck up right now. Let all my emotions and shit just like out.
Yeah. And yeah, I know. And then I guess still in a way it's like everyone has different ways of showing their emotions. Just because you're not physically seeing me cry, you don't know how I'm like feeling inside, or maybe I'm showing it in a different way where you're kind of like, oh, she's acting different. But it's like,
or people will ghost. I feel like that's like a way. Like that's how,
I do that a lot.
That's how I know.
Yeah.
Like if I don't hear from her, I'm like, she's fucking going through it.
Yeah. Like
it's not the healthiest.
Yeah.
Because again, it's kind of like I'm gonna act like just gonna have a day, and then I'm gonna act like that's it. Like it never happened. But that literally, and I already know the drill.
Yeah, or like I'll, like even if it's before, sometimes I'll text her like, hey, FYI, like I'm gonna like go ghost. But lately, how I've said, like I've been putting my phone on do not disturb, and I've like it's literally because I'm like, okay, I'm trying to like reset. But it's also because I'm like, okay, I just don't want to like talk to anyone at that moment. But it's like I'm just trying to like deal with like some stuff too. But yeah, like that's a good point. And then there's certain times where, but how she just said like ghost, it's like if like I ghost you or like I'm just like gone, it's like, oh, okay, like yeah, she's like going through something.
SOS.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Sometimes I'll just be like, bitch, I just need to know if you're okay.
Yeah.
And she'll like the message, I'm like, period.
Yeah. Or like if you see, guys, if my room, there's been like a few instances, if my room is like messed up, or like it's like I have a lot of stuff out, there's like that's how you know. Like, oh shit, she's like going through it. But that's more of, I know we've been talking about anxiety, but that's more like if I'm depressed, I guess. Like it's like my room tends to be like that if I'm feeling a little bit down and depressed, which doesn't happen often, but it's like that's another way. Like for me, like if my room is messed up, then you know I am going through it.
Yeah, no, because Melly's always put together. Everything is. Again, she talked about it because she wants to be in control. Everything has to be perfect, like very curated, like everything. And I mean, with like depression, I don't know. I wouldn't say I have depression, but I feel like I've had like just like deep sadness. I feel like there was only one moment when I was maybe depressed, and it was when my Nina, oh god, when my Nina passed. Oh fuck.
Yeah, depression, I feel like it's hard to say, oh, I'm depressed.
Yeah, I don't like to just throw that word in.
Yeah, it's like, because this is like, it's very serious, guys. Like depression is very serious, and it's like, that's why I'm like, oh, there's like instances where I'm like, I mean, I guess last year, like, it was like, I would consider that. Like, depression. I was like, that was like, I was depressed, you know? But, yeah, I feel like, how you said, it's like maybe more sadness, but.
Like, deep. Or maybe, like, it's like, I don't know because I don't know. I feel like depression, it's not like a stagnant thing. I think there's a spectrum. So I think maybe we've had inklings of depression, because, like, there were times, like, when I graduated school, I like had my like job right after, and then that ended, and then for 6 months I didn't work, and within those 6 months I lost my Nina, and I think just all of that, it was just
dark place.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah,
like I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't dancing. I wasn't doing anything. The first time I went out after that was when we went to go see Vicky.
Oh.
When we went to San Diego with Rick.
That
was the first time I had gone out.
Yeah.
And my mom literally was like, go. She was like, please. She was like, get out. Oh, God.
Yeah, but, I mean, if you've experienced depression, if you're going through it, like, it's, like...
It's
hard,
normal.
like, yeah.
It's definitely, like, that's another thing. Like, I just don't like when people take things lightly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, my God, get over it. Like, blah, blah, blah. I get, like, in the heat of the moment, it's, like, if you're irritated and you say it, but, like, if someone's truly, like, going through something, you just never fucking know. Because there are so many people who have, like, hurt themselves, unalive themselves, and just, like, just say, fuck it. And, like, I know people who have, I've known people that have successfully done it. I know people that have tried to do it, and I know people who constantly hurt themselves. As early, I think the first time I, like, witnessed it or, like, saw, like, the repercussions of it, I was in middle school. And that was, like, kind of when YouTube first, like, started taking off, and cutting became, like, a very, very, like, I don't want to say popular thing, but it was just big. And, like, people, that was, like, an emo thing. And I knew someone who was doing that at school. And I literally was, like, when I saw them, I was, like, like, I don't know how to, like, explain how I, like, the feeling I had, but I just felt so sad for them. Because in my head, I'm like, damn, I've never thought of doing that to myself, but the fact that they have, like, that just made me even more sad.
Yeah.
Like, and, like, we were in middle school, and, like, there are kids, like, I think there was, on the news, like, I don't know, it was within the last 5 years, there was a kid in elementary school that unalived themselves. I think he was 9.
That's crazy.
Because of, like, bullying and yeah. So it's very real. And, like, if someone doesn't validate your feelings, like, please don't let that be the reason for you to, like, hurt yourself.
Yeah, and even if you're listening, just be more aware, guys. Just be more aware of, like...
Show some more compassion.
Yeah. More compassion, be understanding, and just, you know, you don't know what anyone is going through. People are very good at hiding it. So it's just, you don't know. So just be more cautious.
Yeah, but I also will say, like, if like, I don't know how to say this, but, like, también, like, don't just pull that card cuando te conviene. Because that's also not okay. Because if you, like, use that to, like, let's say you're trying to work through something, and then you're making a breakthrough, and then you kind of use that as a, like, I don't want to say excuse, but you use that to kind of, like, shift gears and, like, turn the conversation away from where it's going. Like, that's also not fair to people who are, like, trying to help. And I think that's also why, like, some people give up on others, and it's just so sad.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't think you should give up on people. Just wish them well.
I know, but yeah, guys, we just wanted to put some, like, light into that because, you know, I feel like nowadays, again, there's so many people near me. I mean, people that I know and people around me that, you know, are struggling with anxiety, depression.
Bitch, us.
Yeah.
Like, we have our, like, bitch, we have our moments where, like, where I'm literally, like, in bed all day.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, and it happens quite often.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like I feel like almost everyone struggles with it, sadly. And if you don't, then you're very lucky. But...
Yeah, or maybe you just don't know that you do.
Yeah.
Because, again, like, I think it just goes back to kind of, like, kind of, like, the purpose of this whole podcast is, like, el efecto. So it's, like, the effects of basically our environment, like, how you grew up. That's, like, why you are the way you are. And some people grew up in a way where, like, anxieties were just not a thing. Maybe they were brought up to, like they knew their worth. Like, they were taught, like, oh my gosh, you're amazing.
Yeah.
You can do anything. But actually, like, not just saying it, but like parents were actually instilling that and like letting their kids like make mistakes, learn from them, and grow from them. Versus like if you made a mistake, you were reprimanded and you were labeled something. Like, I feel like that's another reason why we have like not just anxiety, but like insecurities and shit. And I feel like that's another thing that like leads us to have even more anxiety.
Oh, 100%. It's like, yeah, like I guess growing up, like all my insecurities, oh my god, and they were triggered by certain like comments in the household and stuff. Till this day, I like struggle so much with that, and it causes like anxiety. Right, something's not like I'm like, oh, I don't look presentable. Then the whole day I'm uncomfortable. Like I'm like I just want to get home, or like certain things like that. And it's another form of that, and it's because of how we were raised. And another thing I was gonna say is just like the people we surround ourselves with, our environment. Like it's like growing up, I'm an only child, so it's like my parents obviously like they. Not that they don't understand it, but they still till this day they're like, oh, like you're just like if they see it as exaggerating or like whatever, like Patty said, like, oh, why are you like stressed? Why are you doing
this? They
just
don't understand because they've never been through it.
Yeah. And it's like, so it's like, you know, growing up as an only child, it's like I never had anyone like, I guess in the household to relate to. So, but luckily I have Patty and I have like my cousins, but it's like, yeah, just and certain friends too. But it's like just guys, who you surround yourself with also just helps a lot with all of this.
Yeah, and sometimes like I say this all the time, you have to protect your peace because you can love somebody and care for them so much, but like sometimes like people can be triggers for you, and whether like you could want to support the shit out of them, but maybe they're like just toxic to your life or draining. And that can lead to like it can feed into your life and just like do more harm even if you want to do good by them. So yeah, that's a good call. Be aware, because unfortunately we live in a world where not everyone has your best interest in mind.
Yeah.
And they really are just like focused on themselves and like how they're feeling in that moment, and then like they can't see it from another person's perspective. Like I know like if I'm going through something, I know she'll like get it or like understand and be like, no bitch, I'm not judging, like I just want to help you, and vice versa. Like we're fucking human.
Yeah,
like it happens.
Yeah,
whether you believe it or not, it happens.
Yeah.
Mental illness, and those are mental illnesses, and it's real. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And sometimes it's even worse when you can't see it, because that shit eats you the fuck alive. It
eats you alive, and then those around you are the people that you trust more, you rely on, don't even realize it's happening. So yeah.
Damn, bitch, that got deep.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I think it's just something that we just wanted to bring up, guys, because again, we struggle with it.
And also, I think it was just kind of fitting because we've been going through a lot. And again, like, you probably wouldn't know if we didn't say it, because again, maybe people listening or watching only know us through social media or like friends of friends, and their perception is their reality. So if they're just seeing content we're putting out, or they see us at a party, like, people always get a trip. I like when people meet me, they get a different like view. If you meet me in like not a party setting and just like natural, like we just meet like through a friend, like we run into each other at a grocery store, like at work, you would think like, oh, like she's super shy, like she has her stuff together, like whatever. And then if, let's say, those people see me out, they're like, the hell, like where did this come from? Vice versa. If you know me from like a party or like a night out or
my Instagram stories, everyone's like, oh, your cousin that's always shaking her ass.
Yeah, so if they have like that perception of me, and then they hear that I'm like shy. They're like, bitch, you're not shy. I'm like, no, bitch, I am shy. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I'm confident when I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
When I'm uncomfortable, that's when I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it ebbs and flows. You can, like, you're never gonna just be one thing at all times. Again, because people go through shit. We have gone through so much shit in our life. We continue to go through shit. We're gonna go through shit for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And it's gonna impact us.
Yep. And it's only gonna, but at the same, it's only gonna make us who we are, but I'm also like, because of that, I'm like, I'm thankful and I'm grateful for everything that I've been through.
Same.
And that I'm still continuing to work, like I'm working on and everything, because it's just made me who I am.
I feel like we had really good conversation. I like how it started with like feelings and all that, but literally everything, it all kind of ties back. We just want to make sure, like, if you're going through something, no, you're not alone. Like, I feel like I'm not a therapist, but I feel like I'm her therapist. And I don't know, I feel like I give good, solid advice. And I'm definitely that person that, like, I will try and, like, I genuinely want to, like, help you. I'm not going to be like, oh, fucking get over it. Like, I want to understand and, like, just do what I can to help so just know we're here for you if you need anything.
Yeah, and even if you guys just want, like, if you
advice,
want advice or reach out to us, we're here. And if you guys want us to focus on a specific topic, reach out to us, send us some questions, and we can talk about that in an episode. So we're here for you. Yes,
and bitch, you already know I'm here for you.
Always.
Bitch, what the fuck was that? But yeah, guys, that's episode 11. We hope you enjoyed. Don't forget,
follow, subscribe, download
on Spotify, rate us,
everything,
please, and like interact with us. Thank you again for showing so much love on our last, like, the content we've been putting out for the metaphor episode. If you haven't checked it out,
go do it.
Make sure to do it, and make sure to, like, spam his, like, IG and tell him that El Efecto Podcast sent you, because we gotta support the fam.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.